the kingdom of heaven. And then what does it say? All these things, Lance, will be added to you. You got a trouble. You got a trial. Emily, you got a situation. What do? Is contrary to what we said earlier about pursuing God. That you pursue God upon need. The thing is that you seek God. I've had to learn that when you pray, you do not pray for your needs first. Why? Because that tells God, what is your first priority? Your needs. You want God to solve your problems. You wouldn't tolerate that in a friend. Dorothy, the only time you ever seen your kids or your grandkids when they needed something, how long would that last? It wouldn't. Unless you're stupid. Well, if I keep giving them money, they'll come back around.
Well, yeah.
I think it's called buying friends, isn't it?
Yeah.
Buying their love. It never works. Set up a time. Because what happens, you got to understand something. The Bible is not just a book. The Bible is a statement. And the statement is this. I was going down the road the other day, and I believe that we as Christians should be in this position to be able to honestly say, I understand that there's discrepancies here and discrepancies there, that I don't feel threatened when somebody says, well, that wasn't his name, or it wasn't this, or y'all worship on the wrong day. I don't feel threatened by that. I don't feel threatened. I seen this bumper sticker, and it is very true. What is the single most important statement in the Bible? It's called the Bereshit. It's the first sentence in the Bible. It was chosen that way for a reason. It is the preeminent statement of all the proclamation of our faith. The Bereshit. The original text was, God, in the beginning, created the heaven and the earth. God in the beginning. We changed it. In the beginning, God. Seems a subtle thing, but according to the Hebrews, putting God first above all things, God in the beginning. Who cooked the food today? Mimi. Mimi says, no, Papa's one guy out there on the grill. So Papa cooked today? When you say something like that, well, who cooked the burgers? I got them Burger King. Who cooked the burgers? Well, AJ. Boy, I tell you what, I didn't like the manager. Well, when AJ was the manager, you see how it states that ownership, that this person, it points out. Who made that mess? Blade. When you make the statement that God is preeminent above all things. So what it said was, this bumper sticker says, in the beginning, man created God. And you have to understand, society truly in the beginning has been creating an image of God. And why has man constantly been creating new images of God? I was talking to my Muslim friend, and he told me that there is a movement happening within the Muslim society. And what it is that the Muslims are now under attack from radical, liberal Muslims. They want to change the Quran, make it more friendly and accessible. Now you think, how in the world is it possible? Because that's a fake religion anyway. I don't know. You better go back and check out the story of Ishmael. When God says he will bless him. He was one of God's children. But there was a little subtle split and all this stuff. The thing is that they belong to the tree of God. But the thing is that he was talking about how some of their core beliefs are under attack. And it's so funny because when you look at these things and how we're under attack, it's very real because every day we create a new version of God. Think about it. Do we not? Let's just be real.
That's fair.
Huh?
That's fair.
Yeah, because, well, we want God to do this. Well, first thing is, he says, I am not like you. I'm not going, my ways are not your ways. How I solve things. And so one of the first things that we do when we create God is that we ask God to solve a problem. We do not ask God to solve the reason for the problem. And I'll give you a perfect example. You're in jail. You're in jail for this. You've got a hot check. You've got a past due bill. You've got cancer. And you're still smoking. The problem is that if you've got this thing, you've done this thing. Does that make sense? Yeah. And so in other words, for you to go to God and say, hey God, I really need your help on my finances. It's just like I said earlier. Okay, then give me your checkbook. Well, I don't want all that.
You want to treat the symptoms, but you don't want to treat the disease.
Exactly. And you don't want to find out what the real cause of the disease is. The other day, I'm in a situation, and I was telling Amber about this. If you ever have a business or have anything like that, you're trying to do something, there are dark places that you go to in your mind, and you start saying, God, why is this? God, why is that? I've learned that whenever I am in a dark place, I don't ask, I want a light turned on, and I want to be able to see where I went wrong at. I've learned that if you're ever in a dark place, you are the reason you're in that dark place. Do you realize that? You walked into that dark place. You made the decision to walk away from the light. There's times, and if you'll ever go back in your history, you will go back and you'll go, where did I go wrong at? So you've got to start relearning again. So you've got to start going back to work. So daily, every day, read the Word of God. Prayer time and worship time goes hand in hand. But you got to understand something. God does not, let me rephrase this, I'm going to say this. In your prayer time, there should be this practice of your life constantly being in. If my salvation, if my world was dependent upon me waking up at 8 o'clock every morning, Emily, and taking time and saying this prayer from 8 till 8:30, I wouldn't last. I remember being in Africa when they would have prayer meetings, and I'm good for about 30 seconds of prayer, I'll be honest with you. They're praying for hours. And I've been praying in a situation to where you're sitting there and all of a sudden you hear something walking in the house, and you open your eyes and there's chickens and goats and stuff walking through the house while you're praying, and they're just praying away. And I'm like, where's chicken in here? What's that chicken doing in here? Because I like God, I said, how can they pray so much? He said, because their need is greater than yours. Because one of the first things that you do when you go to Africa, one of the first things you do when you go to Africa is lose weight. And you say, why do you lose weight? He says, because we don't eat your food. All of a sudden, man, you're in Africa for 2 weeks and you're feeling good. Man, you're like walking around, you kind of